Thank you for participating on opening day at World Dairy Expo. My name is Krista Knigge, and I am serving on the World Dairy Expo Education Committee and happy to introduce your speaker for this afternoon. The session is titled Cultivate Your Culture. Speaker is Sandy Larson, who is General Manager at Larson Acres. So, how is your culture at its best? Having a positive culture supported with outstanding values will elevate your farm and your employees. Are your employees engaged? In this seminar, Sandy Larson, General Manager of Larson Acres, will show attendees what it takes to increase engagement and lower employee turnover. Become the employer of choice. Sandy Larson is the fifth generation to lead Larson Acres, her family-owned dairy in Evansville, Wisconsin. On her farm in Evansville, Wisconsin. Larson works hard on employee engagement and management, business administration, and public relations. She is a member of the board of directors for Alcevia, National Farmer Advisory Council, an active member of the Rock County Dairy Organizations. Larson is the founder and advisor of the Rock County Ag Ambassador Program, which employs an advocate on behalf of agriculture in the country. Additionally, she is an active advocate for dairy within the community and through social media outlets. At this time, I'd ask everybody to silence your cell phones, and Sandy, the stage is yours.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. Yep, she kind of said what I do every day is general manager of Larson Acres, focusing on those things that she mentioned: employees, business, public relations, and the future. Our sixth generation is on the farm today too, so we're planning for what's next. I wanted to give you a little feedback on how we got started and where we are today. So we began over 90 years ago. With 80 acres, 6 cows. This is my grandpa Don. He purchased the home farm where we are today in 1957. And he had the foresight in 1970 to form a corporation. He had 3 sons that were getting married and starting families, and he formed a corporation, so it was a nice, easy transition for us to transition the farm to the next generation. He worked with a lawyer in Rock County. He actually just passed away this week, and we met with him this summer. So it's come a long, long way. So it's timely that I talk about that, actually. So I talked about the 6th generation. So that's myself, my mom, and then my daughter Brooke. She works for Bomatic full-time, but she works weekends as a herdsman or in the nursery barn. And my middle son, Dane, attended the UW Short Course 2-year program. He's on the farm full-time, crops and maintenance. And my youngest son, Luke, is actually working a booth for Everegg. He just graduated from UW Platteville, and he works weekends feeding the cows. So all of my kids are just a little bit different, but yet still have a passion for being back at the dairy. This picture here shows my grandpa and 2 of my uncles and my dad and our old tie stall barn. We milked 155 cows in a 4-row tie stall barn. It was 4 families while I was growing up. This is the family today. We've had a pretty exciting year. We won the 2023 National Dairy Quality Platinum Award. We were submitted by Grande, which we ship our milk to. And we are the 2024 World Dairy Expo Dairy Producers of the Year. So we have a busier week than we normally do. We have a recognition tomorrow. So very honored and humbled to be nominated and selected for that award. We were not expecting it. So today, this would be my Uncle Mike. He is the dairy manager. My mom and dad, they're semi-retired. Dad likes to push dirt around with his bulldozer and clean up fence lines and that kind of thing. My mom helps with the cleaning of the lounges for the employees. So this is another partner on the farm, and he's the dairy herd manager, and then my 3 kids, Brooke, Dane, and Luke. So in 1998, we started growing. I came back to the farm. I had a brother that was on the farm, and I had 2 cousins. we needed to create more income for the farm, for the family to farm together. So we built our first parlor, a double 22 Bomatic, and put in two, we call them the conventional freestyle barns, where the fans are inside the barn and we have misters, and put in a hospital barn. And so we grew to 600, and 2 years later went right to 1,200. Went really smooth. We added our first non-family employees and had really low turnover. It went really, really good. So we were just settling in, figuring out everybody's roles, and growing at that time. 2010, we doubled again. We put in a second parlor, double 20 Bomatic parlor. This is a picture of our cross-ventilated freestyle barn. Holds 1,800 cows, milk about 1,200. The other are dry cows in transition, maternity, and far-off heifers get to come home about 2 months prior to calving. We also put up 4 nursery barns and a wean barn, and more employees made things a little different. So turnover got higher. We were shocked by that. We hadn't had that yet. It was our first introduction to more employees. So this is what the home farm looks like today. This down here, I don't know if I probably have a pointer, but is the old barn. We have the old farmhouse is now our office. And you can see we went to our traditional barns, then to the CrossFit, and then way in the back is where the nursery barns are. We've been giving tours since probably Friday at the farm, and I tell everybody, if we're going to walk, you're going to walk about a mile. So if you walk all the way around and come back to the main office, it's about a mile. But it's been a nice week for tours. It's been a nice week for Expo for sure. A little bit about values. Mission, vision, values, I know are important, and I know that we need to redo our mission statement. It's long and clunky, but I want to include my kids on that conversation. I just can't seem to sit all 3 down at the same time to have that conversation yet, but we're going to do that before the end of November. So our mission statement needs to be revamped, but these are our values: quality, pride, and family, and I have them on the bottom of all my slides. We've had those 3 words for a long time, and they still fit in every single thing we do for the farm. This is off of our website. So quality cows, farmer's pride, employees like family. Quality, pride, and family, they could be moved anywhere. Quality employees, we're proud of our cows. It just works with everything. We want to have quality feed for the cows. Each department can think about those 3 words and tie it in and help their teams grow. And it's just, we picked right when we picked those, definitely years and years ago. So you will continue to use those as our values, quality, pride, and family. So by the numbers today, we're about 75 employees, but that does include about 8 family members. And then we're at 2,800 cows and about 5,500 acres. We own half, rent half. We grow alfalfa. We've done 5 crops of that this year. Just finished corn silage, and high moisture corn finished up yesterday. So we'll go into some soybeans and then dry corn. And we did plant wheat for the first time this year, and we'll do that again next year just to help with some better crop rotation. We do a lot of cover crops as well. So we've put about 1,000 acres of that in. So they're planted, coming, but boy, we're dry again down here. So we could use a little bit of rain. So we've come a long way since 2019. This is a picture. Those 2 ladies, Mary Lou in the brighter blue, she's been here with us milking for about 8 years, and she's probably the longest milker we have today. And Laura, they're a team. About every shift but one is a couple of ladies, so that's pretty nice. Both their husbands work on the farm as well. This is a picture, you might recognize this from the Hordes Dairyman picture, yeah. When we won the dairy quality one. So these are some of the herdsmen, and we wear safety yellow. Everybody gets 6 shirts in the spring and 6 sweatshirts in the fall. So every team does. So it's just easy to see employees. You're in a barn, you're walking around. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot going on. I want to make sure everybody's safe, for sure. Something that's helped us a lot, and that's since 2019, is housing. We had a lot of turnover. I mean, there were times we get a call, nobody's milking, the first shift left, second shift didn't show up. I'm like, what is broken? What is wrong? So the kids and I, we'd like, well, let's go. We got to go milk. We got to go scrape. Something was broken, and so I stepped in. I started to help out. I'm the people person. I'm the nice one of the family. So I recognized things that maybe we should try to do differently. One of those is we needed housing. We had employees coming to apply, but we didn't have anywhere for them to live. We didn't need that till then. So we bought a neighboring farmette. This has a really great machine shed, which we needed that just as bad as we needed the housing, so it was a win-win for sure. So there's, I think, 6 guys that live here, and this kind of messiness down here, that's actually like a community garden for the employees. There's probably 8 little plots that they can sign up for, and they can have a garden if they want, any of the employees that live or that work at the farm. So that we've been doing that for a number of years. They really enjoy that. A lot of peppers and green beans and yeah, a lot of the stuff that I can't eat for sure. But so that's a great idea as well. We own another farmhouse we just purchased. It's right across the road. They can walk to work. It's great, especially if we're going to have a snowstorm. We know we're going to have somebody that can get there and get home. We also have 2 mobile homes. In the process of buying a third that's 5 miles away. So that's the lady who owns that lot or that park is really nice to work with. We appreciate her. And we also have the lease on 4 rental units. And we've learned the closer you get to the farm, the better. I've got some that are probably, it's just 12 minutes away, 12, 15 minutes away. They know there's some that are 2 minutes away, right? So I wouldn't go any further than 15 minutes if you can help it, depending on where you live. The closer you get to the farm, the better off you are. So we have room for about 32 in housing. I do have 2 open spots, and it just depends on who's hired and if they already have a place to live or not. So at least I have something that's available. I'm okay with that. You just never know when you might need to put somebody in housing. So this is the one across the road from the farm, so that's that house. We have singles and doubles and in most of those houses, and the families are more in the mobile homes. Mostly they're $250 for a double, $300 for a single. That's just they pay that once a month. I just kind of monitor our costs. We've had to buy a couple properties, but we're not making a profit. We just need to pass on what the needs are. The electricity, any new refrigerator, that kind of thing. We've adjusted a little bit, but not a lot. We're pretty much in line where we need to be. This is a picture of one of the rooms. I supply, excuse me, anything that's needed, anything that needs to stay. So like the kitchen is fully stocked. I just go to the local pantry, and get, there's tons of dishes and pots and pans and stuff like that, silverware. That's all there. Kitchen, bathroom, living area. I've just got to find a couple of nightstands and a kitchen table and usually some lamps, a bed, and a dresser. Bedding and towels, I usually hand those out to them. When we had a higher turnover a few years ago, I went to the inflatable beds and did the bedding and towels and had a package of $150. It's yours. It disappeared anyway. So if they didn't stay for a couple weeks and then I went to go put someone else in there, it was gone. So we started charging after we kind of figured that out. But now we're really stable. I've gone back to putting some beds in. They're more comfortable, right? And it's working better. So if you have a higher turnover, you're trying to figure things out, I would recommend just those inflatable beds, like when you go camping. Something else we do is invest in these keypads for the doors. It helps keep all their stuff secure. And I change the code. It's usually their time clock number or the last 4 digits of their time clock number. And so it's easy for them to remember. The main entrance is always locked as well. So if somebody does leave, I can change the main entrance. You can take out the old numbers if someone has left the farm. I've also learned that if you have more than 4 people, you probably need 2 refrigerators, for sure if you have 5. It just fills up quickly. If they go shopping once a week, they buy all that fresh produce and stuff that they just run out of space. And I've learned if you can put in gas stoves, do that. I have 0 experience with a gas stove, so I'm like, why do we want that? But the ones that we don't have the gas stove, we're always changing the elements. They're just wearing them out so fast. So I've learned to, if I can, put a gas stove in, and maybe I'll learn how to cook on them as well. Okay, a little bit about our culture. This too we've had for a number of years, and I still really like it. We do include it in our onboarding packages when new people are hired. It's Rise to the Cream of the Crop, and RISE stands for Respect, Innovate, Stewardship, and Engage. And we do have this posted around the farm, and I should use it more at the meetings too. Like we have monthly meetings or the employee meetings. Like, bring it out and review it again. Bring it to the front and make sure they think about it more often. And this is what they mean. So we value respect and treat others as they would want to be treated and appreciate differences. And this, we really started this when we brought in the non-family employees. This is kind of where this started. We demonstrate innovation with new ideas that improve and grow the farm. Larson Acres has always believed in this. We do a lot of new innovation, whether it's with Bomatic or Coon with equipment, just trying different, with sand recycling. We're always willing to try something that's going to make our farm better. Every process is committed to good stewardship for our employees, the cows, and the environment. So those are important. In our community, we want to make sure that they know we're doing what's right, and we know we are, but we have to make sure that the employees believe in that too, right? And so that they do that. We'll get the National Farm Program will come in and do an inspection or every 3 years, and the employees should just already know what they're supposed to do, right? Because we're going to be good to the cows, we're going to be good to the environment. We have to report to the state of Wisconsin. We want to do everything we're supposed to be doing and follow the law. And we also engage with our employees through open-minded communication and encourage our team to grow and advance. I'm going to talk a lot more about engagement as we go through the PowerPoint. So our culture could include planned events with families. This is Santa Claus comes in December and they get to bring their kids. We love this. Like, we've been doing, like Charlie, he's the little boy in the brown pants. He's probably, I think he's in 2nd grade now. So this is an old picture. That's how long we've been doing this, and it's just fun to watch those kids come back and see how they've grown. And it's a nice, color, or they'll decorate and frost cupcakes and have sprinkles all over the place, and they always get a gift from Santa. Love that event. Appreciation party for the families. We have that. We used to have it off the farm in the middle of the winter when we had more time, but we found that they want to have it at the farm so their families can see where the employees work, and they can see the farm and go see the cows. So we have that every year. And then we've either gone with gift baskets of $50 value for every employee who attends, or we've now just switched it up to $500 gifts for 5 people. So we've changed it up, and we've done like a grill or a pellet burner. TVs is always a popular one. Trip to the Wisconsin Dells. Coolers full of, with deck chairs. Yeah, a variety of different things for like a $500 value. So that's been well received too. We have sponsored, we don't this year, but we have sponsored a soccer team of employees in the past, and we've picked up employees because of that. So that's been fun to be the sponsor of those teams, and you always get a T-shirt and go and watch them play a couple times. I like that too. A little bit about our monthly items. We usually do monthly lunches in September. Is it still September today? I think it is. It is the 1st? Okay. I don't even know what day it is. So in September, last month, we had Boot Bus come because they get a free pair of boots when they get their safety clothing. And so we grilled out burgers, because when I went to the county fair this year, I bought 2 steers and 1 pig, and I processed all of it. And then I was like, where am I going to put all of that? I didn't really know what I had done. I had great intentions and I was going to do with it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, so all our freezers are chocked full. But this way we're going to grill out, we're going to have some what we call meat raffles. I don't know if you know what those are. You pay $1 and you can win a cut of meat, and we're going to donate that money to the care closet. We've already given a $100 basket of different cuts of meat for participating in submitting Employee of the Month nomination. Come Christmas, they're probably all going to get a couple of roasts. So those are things that I think they'll appreciate. Food's expensive, and I was going to purchase those steers because they're local 4-H kids anyway. So we're looking forward to having a lot of monthly activities with that. Contests, like coming up in October, it's count how many seeds are in the pumpkin. Simple. And they'll probably get some more meat, or they'll get some Larson Acres trinkets, or they're going to get bags of candy. It's just something fun to do. Let's see what Easter, we've done just different things. Just different contests that we can come up with. In our lounges, we do post our birthdays and anniversaries for the month. We do celebrate the anniversaries. They get a handwritten thank you card from myself, and they get the employee gift of the year. Last year was a really cool Yeti cup with a Bluetooth speaker on the bottom. That was pretty sweet. And then this year's like a Himalayan alarm clock, nice and wooden, but it's also a phone charger. So I'm like, there's an alarm clock, and they can charge their phone, so they should never be late for work. So those are nice. Plus, they get a bonus in their paycheck. Holiday treats, the holidays, somebody's got to work, right? We're milking 24/7. Herdsmen are needed. We're feeding the cows, feeding the calves. They're always working. So we'll have pumpkin pie, apple pie here at Thanksgiving. We'll do, sometimes we do a Thanksgiving dinner. We'll do a Christmas dinner, like ham and potatoes. We celebrate, Hispanic month, and have a lot of, actually some of the team makes tacos and guacamole and just all the things. And they're so proud to help make a meal and showcase it. That's been a lot of fun too. Yeah, so this is just the Easter notice. All our notices are always in English and in Spanish. Onboarding. For most of the positions, we have a training checklist. We have a couple videos that they're supposed to watch. Animal handling is always required at the beginning, and hazard communication. So they get those yearly, but if they missed it when we do it yearly, they're a new employee. We want to make sure they get those right away. And the last several years is a farm tour. When we did that with one of our milker meetings, the ladies in the parlor had never left the parlor. They knew like pen 21 was coming in, but they didn't know where that was. And I'm like, it just was like the light came on. I'm like, I let them down. So now we do farm tours. They're actually going to do one this next month because there's some new employees. They've never been back to the nursery barns, and so they get to see where else people work and what those jobs are. I think that's important. It makes them feel part of the whole farm, right? And not just, here's my job, I'm coming to work, and I'm going to go back home. We want to improve training in all the positions. And so we have a 1-week, 30, 60, 90-day check-in forms that the managers are supposed to complete. Some managers are better than others, and we do need a better system to make sure that is being done. Just to make sure, do you have everything you need to do your job? Do you have any questions? What did we forget to teach you? Do you like your job? So those are things that we have in place. We need to make sure that every manager in those departments does that. And we do have managers for, they're middle managers. There's a heifer manager, feed manager, calf manager, sand manager, operations, parlors. I might be missing one. Yeah. A little bit more engagement. This is "'Tis the Season of Giving." Well, the "'Tis the Season for Giving" is a nomination that the employees can submit to a needy person or a organization like a cancer organization that needs funds, or Alzheimer's, or anything that's important to them that could use a donation. And we'll give a $200 donation in the name of that employee. We've been doing that for several years too. That means a lot. It's just something that we can give back for the employees. I love the tree. That's our Thanksgiving leaf tree, and you're supposed to put something on there that you're thankful for. So it's the thankful tree. And And so we put that up in the lounges and leave the leaves out, and they can write on there what they're thankful for. It's usually their family, their job, the cows. Sometimes it's a person that's helped them out. Just any kind words. It just warms your heart to read those things at Thanksgiving. I've talked a little bit. So mini KPIs are posted in all the lounges. That brings the employees to know like how many cows are we milking, how much milk are they giving, what's our somatic cell count, how many calves do we have this week. Just kind of gives everybody an idea of what's kind of we call our mini KPIs, just a few numbers that we'd like to share with them. Employee of the Month, we've been doing since 2022, nominated by their peers, by managers, and then they're chosen. And then we get to learn a little bit more about that person. They have to answer some questions, and we post that in the lounges. Post pictures, they get a handwritten note from myself and a $100 bill for being the Employee of the Month. And I mentioned already most of our postings are all in English and in Spanish. So I was just starting to kind of talk about the managers. Most of the managers then get KPIs, which is key performance indicators. It's more in depth, a lot more about the cows and the health of the cows. We do have team meetings by department. So I work with Forte Dairy Consulting. He comes in every month. So every other month is all milkers. He has to do it. We do 3 times, 3 shifts, and sometimes it's required training like the animal handling or hazard communication. We've done safety training, is done in March and April. Talks about weather safety, who has had CPR, where to find the safety or the bag for if somebody's injured. All that's in there. We did have a tornado in Wisconsin in February. Didn't have training yet. I'm like, well, that was a little close. But I learned a lot because I've learned that some of the employees did not know what was happening. They were sleeping. So we've learned about putting an app on phones that will let them know, like, there's a tornado warning in your area. It should wake them up. So they put that app on their phone. We talked about what tornado warnings versus tornado watches. Not everybody understands that. So that was, I learned a lot. So every year we add to that training because there's more and more that we learn about that. So then the other meetings that I have every other week is with the herdsman, the feed team, calf team, and the sand team. So those teams meet opposite the milker team. And it could be educational. It's not like, hey, you need to do better at this. It's not hitting them with a negative all the time. It's like, hey, let's learn something new. You know, like they all took a tour. They went down to the heifer barn and saw our IVF lab and learned about what we're doing down there. They know that they're getting all these calves or that these animals are being flushed, but they didn't know where or why or how it worked. So that was a really fun tour for them to go to this summer, and then stopped and got an ice cream cone. So that was good. So I do call that group the middle managers, the M&M group, middle managers. So they meet monthly for an hour. And again, it's meant to bring those teams together. Like, how can I help you with this? Or, hey, I've got this coming up. It's not to be like, why didn't you do this? Or what? We don't want them to wait to bring in and hammer somebody with something. That can be dealt with anytime. Don't wait. This is to be helpful and more of a team bonding and more informative. We do like to promote employees from within, and that's been a lot of fun to watch. We've had a couple of management openings in the last several years that employees have applied for, and we've given them that chance. We've had a herdsman become the calf manager. We've had a milker become the sand manager. And you don't know that they have those skills until you give them a chance. And so it's been really, really rewarding to see them grow. An example for the calf manager, we're probably on our 4th one, if not 5th, but when we first grew, you hire somebody to take care of the calves, right? They're really good at that, but they're terrible with the employees. So the next one you hire, we want an employee-based person. Well, then the calves suffer. They're just not, it's very hard to find that person that has both those skill sets. And that you have to recognize that because that's very, very true, very hard to find that person. The one we have now is good at both. He's good with the employees, he's engaged, he helps, they all work together, but the calves are thriving. That's rare, so make sure you recognize that if somebody's good at their job, they're technical, they can run the equipment, but they might not have those people skills. So if they don't, look to educate them. Like, how can you send them to class to learn more of those skills? Because if they don't, then you're going to have turnover because people are going to be miserable. So we do like to promote from within. We'll post it in the lounges first if there's an opening, and then we can post it if we need to, like on our Facebook page. This is a disc profile. Some of you have probably seen it. Some of you maybe have not. We did this. It's been a while. We should do it again. We learned a lot. We did it with the family a number of years ago, and you figured out where you were. So I'm the S. So I'm the nice person. That's why. So I'm usually accommodating. I'm patient. I'm helpful. I'm the people person. My dad, my uncle, they're the green. They're just, dads can be mean, right? So that's where they sit. It's interesting. The yellow, the conscientious. This is our accountant. These are our herdsmen. They're very detailed, structured, black and white. That's it, and they fit right there. It's very eye-opening to see that. We don't have very many eyes in our group. Well, we should do it again, but we haven't. But we don't have an eye. We thought our front desk office manager was going to be. She's not, though. So, and in a way that this works, the closer you are to the middle, like if I'm way out here, I'm mostly this. But the closer you are, you might have more of those characteristics. The further away you are, the more dominant you are in that one. So that helped us as a family recognize our differences. Because you'd sit in a meeting and be like, well, why don't they understand? Or why are they thinking that way? Well, that's just how we're wired, right? We're just not wired the same. But that's okay. Because you don't want everybody to be the same. You want some differences, right? So you get just contrast and like, well, have you ever thought about doing it this way or doing it that way? That's been very, very good. And you get a report about yourself, and you get a report about how you could talk to somebody else. I look at mine a lot. If I'm struggling with maybe another manager or another family member, I'm like, why are they behaving like this, or why am I struggling with them? You can pull it out and you can reread those things. This is something else we use on the farm. It's called a hero audit. It's just to help employees feel like they can submit something that they see that's maybe not quite right and they don't want to forget about it. I like to have, these are posted in all the lounges. I want to make sure that they're brought to meetings because they're posted, you don't see them anymore. So we want to make sure that they're brought to the table all the time. So they can, there's health concerns if, there's something that's not very, if somebody might hit their head on this gate or something like that, they can let us know that. Environmental, those are ladders that aren't where they should be, or traffic. We had a traffic concern this year, like there's a lot of walking, but there's a lot of truck traffic, so we made some changes there. Risk is the other one, and then just observation. Communication. These are the meetings that we have. The picture is hilarious. This is doing the judging, the cow contest on hordes, and teaching the employees like what a good cows are supposed to look like. And so that was a ton of fun. So we do this every year, and we submit some, and we have like a contest on the farm too. Structure for the farm operations meetings are every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. And those are for family and most of the middle managers, so that we can all talk about any operational items that we need to talk about. Usually it's garage doors that aren't working, when are they coming, props that aren't here for the sand room because they haven't been delivered and they're just on back order, and so it's stuff like that. Management meets every other Tuesday morning, so those are scheduled. We meet financial meetings quarterly to go see how we're meeting budget. But we're going to start changing those to talk about the future. What do we need to do instead of talking about what we already did? That's important. It's all family, and then my kids are a part of that. So it takes a long time to learn those ratios, right, and understand what affects what. So having them hear that conversation more and more and earlier is going to help them, because I know it took me a long time. It's easy when you sit there and someone's talking you through it, but then to sit down and actually study it, it's difficult. We do meet with our corporation meetings annually. I talked about our attorney, and that's where we do our gifting to pass the farm on to the next generation. I received my first share when I graduated from high school from my grandpa Don, and that meant more to me than anything. I think he thought I was going to cash it in. I went to UW-Madison, and he thought I would cash it in to go to my tuition. Never did. I told my dad that, and he gave each of my children one when they graduated from high school, and they've got it framed and on their wall. You know, that just means so much. Makes you feel like you're included, and the values that our family has is important. So, and I've talked a little bit already about the employees or the meetings that we have. Communication. These are some ways that we communicate on the farm. You know, 75 employees, different team members. How do we all talk? Some of us use Voxer. It's kind of like a walkie-talkie app. Some of us use it more than others. WhatsApp is another one that's a big one used with the employees. And we have calendars. We have a tour calendar. We have just our general main calendar. Each of us have our own calendar. We have a main office, so anybody can go in there. That's where we have an office manager, on staff HR, and accountant. And those ladies are important for all the employees too, because they know they can talk to somebody in there that they need to. Of course, everybody has emails. We've talked about Voxer, and of course texting. Some practices too that we've found that have worked. We have a dedicated bilingual parlor manager, and an assistant actually too that's learning English. So they keep things going. Milkers and cow pushers are trained with an onboarding plan, and they get yearly reviews. Do you understand your job? What do you not know how to change tankers, or what part of your job do you maybe not know? Bi-monthly, we've talked about that. These are some of the topics. How does the milking equipment work? How does a cow let its milk down? Mastitis detection, proper scrubber usage. Those are their job, but they do their job, but do they understand all of it? Like, how does it all work together? We've actually, other years we've dissected an udder. One time we took the milkers and they went to go breed cows, and it was fun. It was protocols a little bit. We've got for fresh cow mastitis, hospital dry off. You know, we've got a 100-page protocol binder reviewed by our vet and the herdsman and the owners annually minimum. And we were Food Armor certified. That helped establish a ton of this that we needed to have in place. We worked with Dr. Rhoda, if you know him, for many, many, many years. He was a consultant for us and got us started on that program. So I guess that's a quick snapshot of cultivate your culture at Larson Acres. We've talked about the culture, the engagement, communication, practices, protocols. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot every day. But I found that if I put things on my calendar to make sure that we talk about things, they don't get forgotten. You know, you don't want to forget, I want to do this, but it's 2 years later, and I'm like, I never did that. You know, if you put it on your calendar, you're going to remember to do it, you know. And I'll put it on my calendar, and I'll move it to the next week, and I'll move it to the next week, but it's there, right? So I don't forget. I wanted to just quick talk about gratitude is my word of the year. I don't know if you've seen that. Peggy Coffeen had the word of the year in when she was writing, and mine is gratitude this year. Positive state of being, grateful, an overwhelming feeling of appreciation and thankfulness, and a desire to return kindness to others. So I picked this in January. I think my other ones, this is my third one. The other one was focus and believe. And it's pretty interesting how that word actually comes to you throughout the year. And when you pick your next year word, how it just speaks to you. So that's my word of the year, is gratitude. And that's what I have. So it's pretty good.
We do have time for questions. As we are recording the session, I will pass around the mic so that you can ask your question. So raise your hand if you have a question.
Well, thank you so much. That was amazing. It's not surprising that Larson Acres are successful. So that reminds me one of the books that I read years ago called Traction.
Yes.
By Gino Wickman. So, you know, two of the most important components of the success of a company is people and the vision. And you define them so well. I'm curious, obviously it's family. I grew up on a family farm, so I know what these family values important. It's important to everybody.
Yes.
But I'm curious how, can you share some of the tips of how you transfer these values and mission to rest of your employees?
Okay.
And also how do you process an issue? Is this the management team is doing, or there's another big circle of group of people that get together to solve? Because you have some issues, right? You need to
Yes.
solve this on a recurring base, otherwise they will come up again.
Yes.
So
So that book Traction's sitting on my desk. I have yet to get all the way through it, and then it takes me too long, and I have to start over again. So I'm like, ugh. So I know the book well. I'll add like who helps with issues. We've had some pretty major issues with employees over the years. I start with the HR, Amy, and she has resources that she can, if we need outside resources, she knows where to get those, and she's kind of the point of contact for making sure we deal with something and that something doesn't happen again, right? But how do I get those values, mission, vision, and the quality, pride, family to the rest of the employees? I don't know if I'm teaching that, like this is what they are, or if I think it just happens. I think it comes from what we do, and if we engage and we want, everybody knows that they're important. We're proud of the employees and the family. We do a lot of that on social media on our Facebook page. But I don't know that I talk about that directly. I think it's indirectly. It just happens. At our employee appreciation party, I always have these quotes or something that fits with our theme and with the employees, and I have those like as tent cards on the tables. And then we have like a PowerPoint that has all the employees and the number of years that they've been working at the farm. And then new this year, I put pictures, because people are like, I put all these names on, but people don't know their names. So now I've got like, especially the 2 years or 3 years, and then up to 25 years. Now there's pictures too of those people, because I know who everybody is, but people want to know, like, especially the accountant who does all the checks. She's like, I don't know who this person is, but so maybe we'll do name tags, maybe not. So there's just little things that you just keep doing. I think that it'll happen. I feel. I guess I didn't mention our turnover rate is 2% or less. We'll go months without hiring anybody, and I feel bad. Have all these applications, and I'm like, I wish I had more jobs. I wish we had another dairy. I wish I had something I could hire these people, but I don't have. They have to wait. Yeah. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. It's great to see the transformation from traditional to the modern dairy farms. And is it possible to visit your farm?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have few days here. We are
Yes.
from Pakistan. If possibility, let us know, please.
Yes, we're showing cattle, and we have our awards thing Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So Saturday would really be our only open day. So I do have. You can try calling me. We'll see if we can set something up. We're about 30 minutes from Madison, and we're on the way to Chicago, so we get a lot.
Sounds like you guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm curious, you talked about some of the issues you've had in the past and how you've rectified those. Today, 2024, what is your biggest challenge as it relates to employees or labor, that sort of thing?
Things, they feel so really good right now. Now it's just kind of petty stuff. Like, maybe the two ladies aren't getting along in the parlor. I'm like, it's little things, or there's an assistant training in the parlors, and maybe they're not respecting that person right now, like, because he was a milker, right? So he's taken a new role and he's learning a lot, but some people are not receptive of that. They're not taking the feedback, like, if he's giving them feedback, you're not prepping the cows correctly, or if you're not bringing the cows the right way, they're getting feedback, and some people don't hear it very well. So that's come up lately, but it's just little things, and I'm like, and I know it's it's not real that things aren't going to come up. I mean, it's realistic, but man, it's so nice when it's just feels good. Yeah.
This is the last question, right? Or you've got time?
Hi, Sandy. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I represent a cooperative, and I think one thing that we see that our members kind of struggle with is the language barrier when it comes to communication. I'm just curious, in your experience with that, have you found resources, or what do you guys do to kind of help with that on your farms?
Yeah, and I've been trying to learn Spanish, and I just need to immerse myself even more. Like I said, we do have a couple of employees that are bilingual, and especially managers are. So maybe their team isn't all speaking English, but the managers do. That's pretty key. Forte Dairy Consulting, they come in and they can do, I like to use them for education, but you can use them for like issues too, right? Like we've called them, used them on the phone too. Like we just need somebody that's maybe not on the farm that they can trust. So that's something that we use a lot. And I had another thought. Who else do we use? Oh, I lost it. But yeah, there's ways around that.
We can stay and answer questions if you have more. Before you leave, please do fill out a survey on your way out. But does anyone else have a question? Well, thank you. Let's
You're
give
welcome.
Sandy another round of applause.